Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to look past just the tech stuff. See, great support isn't really about fixing a machine. It's about fixing a frustrating experience. We're going to break down the communication skills that can turn any problem solver into a true relationship building.
So let's be real, we've all been there, right? On the receiving end of a really bad support call. But have you ever really stopped to think about what that actually costs the business? I mean, it is so much more than just one unhappy customer.
You know, every single support call is like a fork in the road. If you get it right, bam, you've created a loyal customer who's going to come back. But if you get it wrong, oh boy, it's not just a lost sale. You kick off this whole chain reaction of costs. More calls tying up your team, terrible reviews, and yeah, product returns. The stakes on every single call are just incredibly high.
Okay, so how do we make sure we always take the right path? Well, it all starts with this core philosophy we're calling the customer service ethic. And this isn't some script or a flowchart. It's a deep, fundamental commitment.
Now, our source material defines it as an organization-wide commitment. And that's the key part right there. It's not just the support team's job. It means client satisfaction is the North Star that guides every single decision for literally everyone in the company.
And you know what? That huge commitment really just boils down to this one number. The goal isn't good enough or most of the time. No, the only target that matters in a top-tier support operation is 100% client satisfaction, period.
So what's this look like on the ground in practice? Well, as you can see, it really all comes down to taking ownership. It means you own that problem from start to finish. You find the solution, you communicate the timeline, you manage their expectations, and you always follow through. It's all about being reliable.
All right, now that we've got the foundation poured, let's start building the toolkit. We're going to focus on 3 absolutely essential skills that bring that ethic to life in every single conversation. Just think of it like this: listen, understand, and respond.
We can break this whole process down into 3 basic pillars, and you gotta nail them in order. First, you have to truly listen. Then, you build a genuine understanding, and only after that can you respond in a way that actually, fixes the problem.
Step 1 is so much more than just hearing words. It's about listening for clues. Is the user throwing around technical jargon, or are they using simple terms? What's their tone of voice? Are they frustrated, confused, anxious? All of these are little bits of intel that help you tailor your response perfectly.
And what's really fascinating here is the contrast between these 2 columns. All the tips on the left, they're about making the conversation about the user. And the barriers on the right, well, that's what happens when you make it all about you, your concerns, your defensiveness, your need to talk. Effective listening is really just the act of setting your own agenda aside. So once you've truly listened, you can move on to pillar 2, building understanding through empathy. Now, empathy isn't just feeling sorry for someone. It's the skill of actually identifying with their situation and their feelings. It's the magic ingredient that turns a transaction into a real human connection.
And this quote is just a perfect example. See, you're not just saying, "I understand." You're acknowledging their specific feeling, frustration, and then you immediately pivot to a solution. This little phrase validates their experience and, at the same time, builds confidence that you're the person who can help.
Finally, we get to respond. And here's the thing: how you say it is often just as important as what you say. It all starts with the very first words out of your mouth. A sincere, positive greeting can completely change the tone of an otherwise stressful call.
Okay, so we've got the ethic and the toolkit. Now it's time to run the gauntlet. Let's apply these skills to some of the most challenging types of users you are definitely going to run into.
First up, the angry user. Now, the key tactic here is a little counterintuitive. Just listen. Let them vent all of it without interrupting. By just soaking up that initial frustration instead of getting defensive, you show them you're there to understand, not to fight. And that is the first, most crucial step to rebuilding trust.
Next, we have the power user. The expert who might be kind of challenging your authority. The trick here is to bring them over to your side. Using inclusive language like "we" makes them feel like part of the team. It completely shifts the dynamic from a standoff to a collaboration and lets you respond like a trusted partner.
And finally, the reluctant user. They might be quiet just because they're intimidated by the tech. Your job is to make them feel safe and competent. So use simple language and, this is crucial, give them positive feedback for every little piece of information they give you. You're not just getting info, you're actively building their confidence to help you solve the problem.
So, let's bring this all home. What's the big takeaway from all this? At the end of the day, you're not just closing tickets. You are on the front line building customer relationships for your entire company. What we've laid out here is basically a roadmap for transformation. It's about shifting from just a reactive mindset to a truly professional one that's grounded in an ethic of service and armed with a toolkit that prepares you for any conversation. And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. Which skill is truly more valuable, solving a really complex technical problem or navigating a really difficult human one? Something to think about. Thanks for watching The Explainer.